You cross your fingers for luck. You say Godspeed when someone heads into the unknown. You spill salt and instinctively toss it over your shoulder. Harmless habits, right? Not even close. These simple gestures aren't just traditions. They're echoes of survival codes, ancient defenses built into our behavior. Each one born from fear, faith, and the desperate hope that something unseen is listening. In this three-part series, we uncover the chilling origins behind the things we do without thinking. Because what feels like a quirk might have once saved a soul. The devil in the salt. Why we really throw it over our shoulder. Ever spill salt and instinctively toss a pinch over your left shoulder? Yeah, you're not just cleaning up. You're fighting off the devil. Sounds dramatic? Good, because the origin of this strange little ritual is anything but mild. Back in the Middle Ages, salt wasn't just seasoning, it was sacred. It purified, preserved, and was so valuable it was used as currency. The word salary comes from it. So when you spilled it, it wasn't just wasteful, it was bad luck. And not just general bad luck. Specific, targeted, devils on your shoulder kind of bad luck. Literally. According to centuries-old belief, the devil stands behind your left shoulder, waiting for an opening. And when salt spills, that's his cue. So people grabbed a pinch and flung it over their left shoulder to blind him, to send him back, to say, "Not today, Satan." In Da Vinci's Last Supper, Judas is shown spilling salt right before betraying Jesus. Coincidence? Not a chance. For hundreds of years, a tipped salt bowl at the dinner table was seen as a warning. Someone at the table was lying. Someone was cursed. Someone was being watched. Even today, in homes around the world, that chill still lingers. You knock the salt, you fix it. Fast. This isn't just Western lore either. In Haitian Vodou, Shinto practices, and Wiccan rituals, salt is used to block spirits, protect homes, and cleanse the body. In parts of Eastern Europe, graves were salted to keep the restless dead from rising. In Buddhist temples, salt is mixed with rice and scattered around thresholds to keep bad energy out. Salt is symbolic armor against decay, deception, and demons. So when it spills, that's not a mess, that's a breach. You can laugh it off, say it's silly, but somewhere deep down, humans still do it. Doctors, lawyers, athletes, politicians, they all toss that salt because it costs nothing, but it might save everything. You're not just cleaning up dinner, you're doing a mini exorcism. So next time the salt tips, grab a pinch, turn your left shoulder, and throw. You'll feel ridiculous. Then you'll feel better, because you didn't just follow a superstition, you followed an ancient rule, a silent code, a forgotten defense passed from firelit stories to modern kitchens. And somewhere in the shadows, the devil squints. Why saying Godspeed was once a survival prayer? You've probably heard someone say it. Godspeed, a polite farewell, maybe with a smirk. Sounds old-fashioned, even dramatic. But what if I told you that word was once the difference between life and death? Because when someone said Godspeed in the past, they weren't just being polite. They were sending out a divine shield, the word that meant come back alive. In the Middle Ages, travel wasn't inconvenient. It was a gamble with death. No highways, no phones, no GPS. Instead, forests filled with bandits, roads cursed by superstition, towns ravaged by plague. If you left home, there was no guarantee you'd return. So when someone set out on a journey, whether for war, trade, or message delivery, the people they left behind didn't just wave. They whispered something sacred. Godspeed. The original Old English phrase was Godspeed, meaning may God prosper you, or may God grant you success and safety. It wasn't a throwaway phrase, it was a verbal blessing, meant to call divine favor, protection, and swiftness over the traveler. It was hope, wrapped in a word, who used it, and why it mattered. Knights riding into battle, sailors leaving for uncharted seas, messengers riding through war zones. These weren't casual errands, these were life-threatening missions, and everyone who sent them off knew it. Even pirates, yes, literal outlaws, were known to mutter Godspeed before setting sail. Not because they were pious, but because the sea didn't care who you were. You either had the gods on your side, or you didn't. It was even used during the Crusades, when men left to fight holy wars across continents. Families would say Godspeed with tears in their eyes, knowing that word might be the last thing their loved one ever heard. Why it still hits different. Today, we say take care or good luck when someone's heading out. But Godspeed hits differently. It's heavier. It's got weight. It's a word loaded with centuries of uncertainty, hope, and desperation. A reminder that life is fragile, the road is long, and you can't always go it alone. In modern times, astronauts still get wished Godspeed. Why? Because even with all our tech and training, space is still dangerous, unforgiving, and it humbles even the boldest. The secret in the sound. And let's be honest, doesn't Godspeed feel powerful? It sounds like a command, like you're not just saying goodbye. You're launching someone into the unknown with every force of good behind them. You're not hoping, you're declaring. It's not just a farewell, it's a spiritual weapon, the weight behind the word. So the next time someone you care about heads off to start a new job, a big move, a solo trip, or something risky, don't just say good luck. Say what your ancestors said. Say what knights, mothers, pirates, and prophets once whispered in the dark. Say Godspeed, because what sounds like old-timey politeness was once the strongest lifeline a voice could offer. Words have power, and some were forged in fire. We all do it. You hope for good news? You cross your fingers. Taking a chance? You cross your fingers. Lying in a pinch? You might cross them behind your back. But what if I told you that innocent little hand gesture started as a spiritual defense mechanism? And the real meaning? It's darker than luck. The origin of crossing your fingers goes all the way back to pre-Christian, pagan Europe, where symbols and gestures carried real power. The X shape made by crossing two fingers wasn't cute. It was sacred. It represented the intersection of divine forces, a place where wishes could be anchored, evil could be trapped, or protection could be summoned. Think of it like a mini-spell, cast with your hands, the secret signal of survival. As Christianity spread, especially during times of persecution, early believers had to practice in secret. They needed a way to recognize each other without being caught. So they used the crossed fingers as a hidden sign of faith, a way to say, I believe, I'm with you, God protect us both. And in dangerous times, when confessing your belief could mean death, this simple gesture became a lifeline. It was whispered protection in plain sight, crossing fingers during plagues and punishment. During the Black Plague, people used to cross their fingers when walking past infected homes, hospitals, or even churches filled with the dead. The idea, the gesture would shield them from death, demons, or whatever cursed wind carried the sickness. Some even carved the X symbol onto their doors to ward off spirits. It wasn't about luck, it was about survival. Behind the back trickery, a shadow side. But like all good things, the gesture evolved, and not always for good. In medieval times, people believed that crossing your fingers behind your back while lying would protect your soul from damnation. Essentially, I'm lying, but I'm crossing myself so I'm not fully accountable. It was seen as a loophole, like a tiny divine firewall, shielding you from spiritual backlash. Today, it's mostly just a joke, but it came from a time when people believed words had weight and lies had consequences. Modern luck or ancient protection? Nowadays, we do it without thinking, before job interviews, big tests, awkward conversations. But somewhere, deep down, that gesture still carries meaning. Because when we're anxious, uncertain, or hoping for a miracle, we reach for something ancient. We make a symbol. We channel a force bigger than us. Even if we don't believe in magic, our hands remember the true meaning behind the motion. So the next time you cross your fingers, don't laugh it off. You're not just hoping, you're shielding, signaling, summoning. You're touching an old belief that's traveled through plague, war, persecution, and centuries of silence. And that little X on your hand, it's not just luck, it's legacy. What looks like hope started as holy defense. Follow for more dark histories behind the habits we never question. You think you're just being polite, tossing salt, crossing your fingers, saying Godspeed like it's nothing. But deep down, your instincts are obeying ancient rules. Rituals born from plague, demons, curses, and survival. In this series, we uncovered the hidden truths behind the things we still do, without even realizing why. Because what seems harmless might be your only protection. Welcome to the rituals we forgot to fear. If you're into strange history, dark habits, and secrets hidden in plain sight, like, follow, and subscribe, because the weird things you do might just be keeping you alive.